Hi guys, today I'd like to talk about how Melbourne train ticketing sucks. And yeah. So, as you probably know, that the majority of the state, all metropolitan trains, trams and buses, some regional buses and V-line trains use a system called Myki, which is it's good when it works. Now, this is a few ways that I think it sucks. So I'll start as how it sucks first. Well, it sucks that when you go on the Myki machine and you want to top up, say, $10, but you don't have a $10 note, you have a $20 note, it won't issue you change because whatever is inserted goes straight to your card. So, like, you should be able to click how much you want to put on the card, and whatever is inserted. Oh, sorry about that. But you should be able to put how much you want to put on the card, and what and if you want to, and then that's about it. But so it's a little bit annoying. We currently have 0 viewers. I'll just get a few. You should be, as I said, you should be able to choose how much you want to put on the card. Now, the other way it sucks is that, say you, you are a overseas tourist. Computers just doing stupid things. Just be patient. Oh, sorry about that, everyone. Sometimes it shuts off and back on. I don't know if you could hear that the computer just failed. I don't know. So if you're an overseas tourist or an interstate tourist, it's doing it again. We just have to be patient. And you what are you an interstate tourist, an overseas tourist, or someone from regional Victoria, like a place that doesn't have the Myki ticketing system, or they don't use trains very often, and therefore they don't have a Myki card? You can't buy a short-term paper ticket. You have to purchase a Myki card that lasts for 4 years, which costs $3 for concession and $6 for children, and then you have to add your money onto it, minimum of $1. And it's just a bit stupid that there's people out on the network that people on the network that do that. Now, the other way the train ticketing sucks, my Google Chrome's not responding. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Well, thank you, Google Chrome, for being so nice. And when I'm doing something so important, you stop. If you can actually hear this, I'm going to restart the live stream. Sorry, I'm just rejoining now. I think just something just like failed and shit. Oh, sorry for my language. But back to what I was saying about how you can't use a mic, how you have to buy a mic that costs $6 and add money. Now that's really bad. And what if you're at an unstaffed station and because you can only buy your mic here, like I think you can buy it from like all 7-Eleven, some news agencies. You can buy an adult Mikey from the train station, but if you got a concession Mikey, you can buy an adult Mikey from the train station ticket machine, which is at every train station, but you can't buy a concession Mikey at an unstaffed station because they don't have a ticket window. So we'll go over, which is really bad for concession people because they have to fare evade because they can't, find a ticket. So Mikey retailers, and like you should be, like there might be a map on the PTV web app, but oh yeah. Just say, I mean, what if you live somewhere here, you can't buy Mikey? If you live somewhere here, no Mikeys to buy from there. You can't buy a Mikey if you live in that town. So you have to, because that town might not have a train station or anything. The Melbourne airport, you can buy a Mikey. That whole area, you can't buy a Mikey, which is pretty bad. In my local town, you can buy a Mikey from the newsagents and at the train station. But anyway, now we have got Mikey hacks, and if the Mikey is work, you can do this. They say you always need to touch off on trains. This is not the case, as it charges you the maximum fare, but probably about 90% of the journeys have the maximum fare because there is two zones. There's zone 1 and zone 2. So it's Mikey fares table. Let's have a look. Maybe I have a look at PTV. Tickets, there's this one for Melbourne. So there's two zones. So free zones technically, the free tram zone, zone 1 and zone 2. Now the thing is, you can't buy just a zone 1 fare. It has to be zone 1 and zone 2. As you can see here, zone 1, which is the inner suburbs and the city. Okay, let's say you're traveling Sunday. 2 hour is $4.10. Zone 2 by itself is $2.80. Zone 1 and 2, if you're traveling through both zones, is $4.10, which is the same as this. So, for example, we'll look at Melbourne train network map, and we'll see. We have to have the look at the one that has the zones. So you could be traveling from Hurstbridge, which is in the far outer suburbs, and get a 1+2. You're traveling to Flinders Street, which is 2 zones. Blue is 2, yellow is 1. And you will be charged a zone 1 and 2 fares because you've traveled for both, which is $4.10, which is pretty cheap. Now, if you travel from Flinders Street to Southern Cross, which is about a 10-minute walk, you will be charged a zone 1 and 2 fare because they don't have any zone 1 fares by itself, and that is also $4.10. So that might be like 50 kilometers between these, and this is like maybe 1 kilometer. So it's just a bit unfair. They should. I know Sydney bases their system on kilometers, and how many kilometers you travel is the amount the fare cost. I think Melbourne should have that as well. So yeah. So they say that, so you're like 90% of people, unless you're traveling between like 2 zones, just between like just if you're traveling, like 90% of journeys travel through zone 1. So that means the 90% of the journeys, because that's a maximum fare, are traveling through the maximum fare, and you always need to touch off. But you don't, well, they say you always need to touch off, but you don't, because the maximum fare is $4.10, and most journeys get charged $4.10. So I just think that's a bit unfair, you know what I mean? Like, zone 1 plus 2, because there is no zone 1 by itself. Also, Melbourne Trains Guy says they should have both. I believe they should have both for like regular commuters, and you should have both. Now let's move on. So technically you don't really need to touch off. Now to the other hack, which is a fare evader hack, and I highly encourage you not to be a fare evader because I hate fare evaders. Okay, so in Melbourne the fare expires after 2 hours. So if you're traveling between one station and another, and you don't touch off when you get to the station, and you don't touch back on, and you touch off at the station you've touched back on, and you've been less than 2 hours, it will charge you not any money, because it says change of mind, no fare deducted, and once you touch off again. So I think that's ridiculously stupid. PTB, you should fix that, and you should fix that now, because you have people, you're like encouraging people to rip off the system, and I just don't think that's fair. Because you're making it easy for people to get away with not paying. Because how often do you see authorized officers? Honestly, how often do you see authorized ticket officers? Like, I've seen one this year. I've got my Myki checked once this year. So I just think that's ridiculously stupid. Now, I also read something saying, well, this one only applies to V-Line. Now, if you are a V-Line customer, you know about default fares and how, you know, like they have default fares, and yeah, so it charges you from the zone you are in, say your station is zone 3, it will charge you to zone 1 automatically, to Melbourne. And then it will, if you're traveling, for example, to a further zone that costs more, say zone 3 to 18, it will still charge you to Melbourne if you don't touch off, because the system says that it automatically charges you to Melbourne. So it can charge, so you could, like, even for not touching off, you can get discounted fares. And if I'm going to bring this to PTV, because it's not fair to have this option of having having no ticket, of having a discounted ticket. Okay. Now one of the other things is this one applies for V-Line. If you touch on at Southern Cross and you touch on at a suburban barrier, you can walk through to the country barriers at the top near the Spencer Street outlet. Also, if your service departs from platform 15 and 16. Now then, they can realise that it's realised that they will charge you suburban default fare if you don't touch off. The thing is, if you're travelling on a V-Line train, how would they know where you're going if you don't touch off? I just really am angry. So say for example you're traveling to Sunbury, which is in zone 2. You don't know. Say it would charge you the maximum fare, which is zone 2. Sorry, I made an awful mistake, and 2 viewers just left. Oh, sorry, we've got one more viewer coming on. I just think that they say, for example, it will think that you've travelled on a suburban train, however, maybe you have not, and then it will charge you a suburban fare of, I don't know, maybe I think the maximum, $4.10, because the maximum fare is $4.10. So I think that's utterly unfair. If you know someone who works at PTV, tell them about this, because I hate fare evaders. PTV, you should do better than this, because you're just doing this, and I will never, I'm shocked that they've done this. Now, they should, what about our authorised officers? Now, a lot of these authorised officers think they have the power to be police. But really, they're not police. They're just people who check tickets, and they think that putting you on the ground is right. And we'll watch a YouTube video. So we'll watch authorised officers, V-Line authorised officers. This one was absolutely horrendous. And PTV, your authorised officers think it is alright to think that it is alright to lay down the law on people where they're not the police. And we've had an absolutely shocking incident that is not allowed by law. These authorised officers, I'll upgrade the quality. 480. It's not So you see the V-Line train pulling into Sunbury, and a man gets. Now, don't watch this if you're like offended by any of these things, because I don't want to get like sued or anything. And you see the authorised officers coming off the V-Line train at Sunbury, where and there was a V-Line, and they were putting him on the seat, and there was children nearby, and they were putting him upon the seat when he did nothing wrong. Now, I'm not saying all authorised officers are like this. For example, that I've had most authorised officers are good people, but those ones shouldn't be good. And these ones here, this guy is an absolute idiot. He thinks global freedom movement, that was a freedom movement that he was apparently part of, but he believed it was all right to travel on a train without a ticket, and everyone else pays a ticket. And he was racially harassing them just because they were like Indian or something like that. Now, I feel for these authorised officers. They've done nothing wrong. They're just minding their own business, inspecting a Myki, doing their job. So I'm going to dislike this video because this was the one that he was like, and apparently he goes to some freedom thing that he claims to be part of. Although he is far from it, because he makes up fake points in the law. Now, he needs to know better than this. If he is interested in law, he should go and read something that says that. So the authorised officers, there is some that shouldn't be in the job, and there's some that are doing a great job. I wish they had like conductors back as they used to in the olden days, because it's just you know, if you don't have a ticket, they can sell you one on the train. And I just think that that's a fair deal. Yeah. And the Jason Macker person is an absolute idiot. So I would like you all to like this. Oh, oops, I accidentally liked my own video. I'd like you to like this video and subscribe to this channel and get this point to PTV, because PTV needs a better ticketing system. And also, I do believe that I feel for Metro customer service employees that have to, not authorised officer, like customer service employees at Southern Cross. There was an incident of them, they stand at the barriers at, I mean, some stations that, like Sunbury, that have barriers, and it's not a very big station, they'll just stand there in the peak hour. And they man there just in case there's a V-Line person, a V-Line, like, person who has a V-Line ticket. And when there's no there, they just close the barrier. And when they're not there, they open the barrier. Now, these people, they have to stand out in the rain and the cold for hours. And I heard about this report. I will go down to the Frankston line one day. I bet I'm really busy with school, but yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't live on that side of the city, so it's a bit harder. I might go down there maybe next holidays or something like that, but I'll see. I'll take your request forward. Okay, so I'm gonna end this video here, and I'd like everyone who watched this video I would just like to thank them for watching this video because it's a very important topic and how our ticketing system often sucks. And yeah. And now I am going to end this live stream. Thank you all for watching. I do appreciate it.